So I see you have a Sports Illustrated Chosen One LeBron James photo, and
God,
he's making some headlines, potentially announcing retirement. Do you actually believe that? And if you don't, what do you think is next for him?
I think he doesn't know. I think that was relatively honest. LeBron, look, is a drama queen in a certain sense and likes to manipulate the media and all that, but people are so cynical about him because we've covered him every day for so long. I think ever since he went to Miami in 2010, that sort of combined with social media exploding and daily debate talk shows exploding. So people have heard about LeBron and his every move, his legacy debated every day since then. Sometimes he does stuff that brings attention to himself, but sometimes it's to no fault of his own. People just hear about it so much, it elicits a certain emotional reaction. Guy's 38 years old. In his 20th season, I would bet money he's going to have foot surgery to repair his foot. So he's got to think about the rehab of that, how long he's going to be out from that. He was competing his tail off in those games, exhausted, trying to do everything. I think after it was a long season. He's old. He's got the miles on the tire, and he's got to think about the possible rehab. So I think there might be a period of time where he's like, yeah, I don't know. We know Tom Brady had a pump fake retirement and came back for one more year. But nobody thought Tom Brady was retiring when he did. I don't think it's just nonsense. I've followed LeBron's career closely, and I think he's the greatest of all time. I mean, speaking of the SI job, I got that job in many ways because the 444 album, Jay-Z and LeBron, it's like the speech I was meant to give. The second day I was there, I think, I did a LeBron is the best basketball player of all time take before the Jordan and LeBron argument was all, this was in 2017, or it was all over the place, and it started with a Jay-Z quote. I'm a big Jay fan. Hove got flow, though he's no big in Pac, but he's close. How am I supposed to win when they got me fighting ghosts or chasing ghosts? And it did like 8 million views. I was like, oh, okay, I'm in good shape as far as that job opportunity goes. So LeBron does hold a special place in that regard, because I also remember going to watch his high school games when I was in college, and that was before that was a thing. And I had my cynical hat on because I heard everybody hyping him. I was like, I'm gonna watch this and tell them they're wrong. And I watched like 5 minutes, and I was like, yeah, they're right. Because you could see instantaneously, one, he was the most physically gifted human,
No question.
and two, he was a basketball genius. Like, you could see those two things right off the bat. So the only thing that mattered then was, did he have the work ethic and the drive? And he answered that as well. So when it's all said and done, LeBron's career, it's 1A, 1B, him and Michael Jordan now. He's either the greatest of all time or in the argument. And you can't be mad at that.
I would argue that too. LeBron is right there, right behind Michael Jordan. I think Michael Jordan, he was just fearless, and the way he played the game, it was just unbelievable. But LeBron James has had a fantastic career, 20 years dominance. He's going to probably break every single record in NBA history by the time he's done. If he plays longer, as he is coming out saying he's considering retirement, I don't believe it. We are talking to Sports Illustrated senior host Robin Lundberg. This is the first time in NBA and NHL history that all the series went to a 3-0. The Knights and Dallas 3-0, the Florida Panthers series 3-0 with the Hurricanes, and then in the NBA, the Nuggets 3-0, Miami was up 3-0. Are you surprised the dominance of all these series in these sports?
Not really. Sometimes a sweep can be slightly deceiving in the sense that the Nuggets are a better team than the Lakers, clearly, and that's why they swept. But a lot of those games are close. And one thing swings it the other way, and all of a sudden it's a 5-game series. And then is it really a difference between a 4-game and a 5-game series when it all is said and done? You do tend to think the best teams are going to be playing, and I do think the best teams were playing, but we're finding out the Nuggets were number one for a reason in the West. They just are one of those teams that looks like they got a shared goal, shared vision, and they're going for it. The other series in the Eastern Conference, most people I think would argue going in, the Celtics were the more talented team, but Miami is playing locked in. They're showing you what you can do with competitive spirit and sharing the basketball and being well coached and being led by a guy like Jimmy Butler, who's playing as well, if not better than anyone. The three-point shot is such an equalizer in today's NBA that will determine a lot of, I think Boston won that game in large part because they hit their threes and Miami didn't, and you see that happen a lot.
NBA draft, Victor Wembanyama, a lot of people think
could
be
the
name,
best
prospect.
What a
since
name.
LeBron. Do you see this kid being close to that kind of thing?
That's not really a burden that should be put on anybody's shoulders. You see why he's such a touted prospect. My fear with him would be injury. And I don't even like putting that out in the universe. But all those guys who are that tall, a lot of times they'll have a foot injury or a knee injury. I mean, we just saw Chet Holmgren, similar build, have a foot injury. Joel Embiid, even in not quite a similar build, but came into the league foot injury. Yao Ming had injuries like that. A lot of guys like that. So that would be my biggest concern. I have no concern about his ability. 7'4", can handle the rock, can shoot the ball, can defend in space at the rim. It's a little tougher for a big man maybe to be heralded in the same way as somebody who's bringing the ball up the floor. But I don't want to say he's going to be as good as LeBron, but you understand why he's been looked at as a number one pick since anyone got to look at him.